Talk about the hypothesis development. Now we have learned how to define a hypothesis very well, alhamdulillah. We have learned many things in the last lectures, starting with the variables. Now we know the types of variable very well. We can easily recognize, we can out of any scenario, we can identify the variables and its type as well. Plus we can develop their relationship, and we can also develop the diagram of their relationship. Plus from the diagram we can develop the hypothesis in a different manner, however we like, and we also know how to figure out the relationship between the nature of the relationship between the variables. Now here we are talking about how to write in any research article, in any thesis, how to talk about the hypothesis. So the talk in any research paper start with the hypothesis development. So this is the heading in the research paper, you see hypothesis development. So hypothesis development is when you start talking about hypothesis. You cannot talk abruptly about the hypothesis, the relationship between the variables. You need to build a story behind it. So I have taken out a very good paper from an impact factor journal, which has variables and their relationship as well. So I need your little attention. So this is the model which I have selected for you. I hope it is visible to the students who are at the back. This is the attitude, this is the subjective norm, this is the perceived behavior control, this is the moral norm, consequences awareness, convenience, recycling intention, and from the intention this is a behavior, that is the reuse, resell, donate, disposal. So this is the research model, the conceptual model built with the theory. There are two theories, as we already discussed about the theory, but here I would like to review the same concepts again. You see, this is the theory of planned behavior, and this is the theory, this is the altruistic model. What does it say? It says about the consequences and acknowledgement. Okay, it talks about the consequences and acknowledgement, makes any consumer intend to do something, intend to go for something. And this TPB you already know, it's about the subjective norm, it's about the attitude, it's about the perceived behavioral control, at how much control the user thinks he has. So in the theoretical framework, there are two theories which support this model. As I already mentioned, there is no conceptual model without a theoretical framework. So the framework of TPB and the altruistic model is there, which is supporting, which is creating the basis for this conceptual model. Now the model has developed, okay? We are about to develop the hypothesis, because we need to test this relationship. For that we need to develop the hypothesis. So now we need to work upon the hypothesis development. Any questions so far? I repeat myself again, this is the conceptual model developed by the researcher, and this model bases on the theory of planned behavior and the altruistic model representing the three variables, that is the moral norm, consequences and convenience, and the theory of planned behavior representing attitude, subjective norm and perceived behavioral control. So these six variables are impacting the intention for the recycling of the consumer, and this is the behavior of the consumer. So now we are about to start discussing the hypothesis development. When we talk about the hypothesis development, we talk about the relationship between these variables. You see these variables. This is what is called the hypothesis development. You can call them H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, H7, 8, 9, 10. So you see there are 10 hypotheses. Now the question is, Umar, tell me what type of the variables are them? Let me give you a choice to make things easy for you. Independent, dependent, mediating, moderating. These, I'm talking about these variables. What kind of variables are them? Anyone? Very easy, independent variable. And you see this variable is the dependent variable. Okay? In the relationship of this and that. But when we talk about the intention and behavior, so over here it is independent and it is dependent. This is the model. So you see what you are doing. Are we mediating the relationship or we are just talking about the direct relationship? Mediating? Yes. Remember, very important point. Mediating is not possible if there is no direct relationship there. Let me give you an example. Very important point I am making. I need your concentration. You see, can we check the mediation right now? Why not? Shabash. So, is mediating possible in this? Got it? Not possible. Until there is a direct relationship, so that we can say that this is mediating. This is mediating. So, very important. Okay. So, any questions so far? Okay. Now, you see, this is a practical understanding I am giving you from the research paper which is already published recently. It's very old. Few years back, it's published in an impact factor journal. So, alhamdulillah, you are understanding this model very clearly with the concepts of yours. Okay, let's move ahead. Now we are talking about the hypothesis development. When we talk about the hypothesis development, you see the theory of planned behavior is mostly extensively used theory to anticipate the human behavior. The TPB proposed a model that contained three variables, that is attitude, subjective norm and perceived behavior control. TPB have used these three as determinants of predicting the individual behavior intention. This is the beginning of the concept. Now they are talking about the attitude. They're talking about the attitude. So one by one, all variables will be talked. And you see, when the discussion about every variable would be completed, there are hypotheses. You can also mention when you talk about the attitude and the recycling intention in a paragraph and make a hypothesis, or you can write at the end all of the three hypotheses. So what happened? They talked about the independent variable of a theory of planned behavior, that are subjective norm, perceived behavioral control and attitude. So you see, attitude has a significant impact on recycling intention. What kind of hypothesis is this? Direct, indirect? Indirect. Ji? Direct. Non-directional. Sorry. Directional or non-directional? डायरेक्शन नॉन डायरेक्शनल. आप बताएं क्या नाम है आपका? Attitude has a significant impact on recycling intention. Whatever you think, tell me. Significant impact. Is it a directional or non-directional? आप कहते हैं डायरेक्शन. Yes. How come? What is significant? We need to understand what does significant mean. Significant is a statistical term. Actually, it shows that the relationship exists only. The relationship, whenever we say there is a relationship, we say, is it statistically a relationship? Yes, a significant relationship. So whenever we talk about significance, it means statistically. So just ignore this. for a while and then tell me. Ignore the significance part, significance word. Tell me. Got it? So thank you, you were correct. So now you can easily find out the direction or not. So attitude has a significant impact on recycling intention. Attitude norms has a significant impact on recycling intention. Perceived behavior control has a significant impact on recycling intention. Significant impact, relationship, both are same. When there is a relationship, always there is an impact. Okay. So what is the dependent variable here? What is the independent? In the first hypothesis? Attitude is what? Attitude is what? Shabash. Okay. So what we have learned over here, you see, first we define the variables. Start with the attitude. The term attitude is defined by Azin and Fishman as person's belief and evaluation towards the behavior. You see, with the reference of the theory, we are defining the variables and then making the relationship possible. So the no relationship is possible without the theory. Remember. So whenever we talk about the hypothesis development, we start our talk with a theory. The term attitude is defined by Azin and Fishman 1980, that is the theory of planned behavior, as person's belief and evaluation towards a behavior. The attitude towards a behavior of an individual is formed as a response to particular judgment. 2006. This is specifically talking about the attitude. So you have quoted, this is the APA citation. This is called APA citation, in which you write the writer's name. Since there is a single writer, Schwartz, so over here. And in 2006, he wrote a research paper. In that he referred this. Many researchers have taken into account the attitude to study the human behavior. Many researchers means big researcher, Kanpur, O'Reilly and Kumar. So basically these researches are the top researches. That is why it is in the paper. Remember, whenever you write the attitude, theory of planned behavior, the few researches come out with the great citation, number of citation. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So it means these are the researches you need to mention whenever you talk about these variables. Well acknowledged, well known, well renowned papers. So you see, these are the well renowned papers. Whenever we talk about the attitude, we talk about them. This. Okay? So it should not be a very latest one. It should be the best cited papers. Cited means there are many researchers who mentioned the researcher name, that this researcher has done this research. So they are very much famous in the research papers. जी. Yes, लिख सकते हैं. Okay. Many researchers have reported the positive impact attitude on individual's behavior, whereas insignificant relationship between attitude and returned intention has been reported in few researchers. Nevertheless, influenced by the majority of supporting data in current research, we propose that attitude towards a behavior will influence the individual's intention to return the. Interesting. देखें, मेरा सा तवज्जो चाहिए. It is talking about the direction. The researches are already being done in the directional context, positive and negative. Okay? But in our model, in the recycling paper of ours, this significant relationship is the most suitable relationship which we need to test. So you see, nevertheless, influenced by the majority of supporting data in current research, we propose that the attitude towards a behavior will influence the individual intention to return the waste. It will influence. It means there is a relationship. It will influence. There is a relationship, and it needs to be measured. So you see, that's how you define the variables. So let me conclude for you. First, you start with the beginning. First you identify the problem, then you make a problem statement, okay, and when you are done with the problem statement, then you go with the literature and you find out the best theory to solve your problem. So when you found out the theory, you go with developing a conceptual model that can frame your variables, the variables, the factors which are critically important to solve your problem. In that case, you see, we have these variables. So when we are done with that, we go with the hypothesis development, we develop the hypothesis, and when the hypothesis development is there, we go with the measures. For example, convenience is one of the variables. So how can we measure the convenience? With items, with questions or items, statements. It is called a statement actually, with statements. We collect the data from the respondents on the statements, and when we collect the data, we go with the statistical analysis. When the statistical analysis is done, we interpret the results. Okay? That's how it goes. So any questions so far? Any question? Anything which is unclear? So have I discussed theoretical framework? Yes, I think I have discussed much. So this paper has a very good research framework as well. Please get this paper from me and share it in the group. It's a very important paper, and one of the Impact Factor journal has published that. So I want you to see practically what are the. You have to read that paper thoroughly. Why? Because so that you see the concepts you have built are applicable in what manner. So can you relate the concepts you have built through that paper? You have to see. For example, you have to see what is the problem statement, what is the abstract. Abstract is the summary of any paper. What is the summary? The abstract is the summary of the paper. Then you start with the background, you develop the problem statement, you develop the theoretical model, you develop the hypothesis development with the conceptual model, hypothesis development, then you go with the methodology. We will be learning methodology in the next part. So methodology is basically designing the research, how you are going to proceed, what would be your design, what would be your philosophy. Few researchers tell their philosophy in the methodology, or you can tell your methodology in the beginning of your paper, of your research. So with the research methodology, you go with the designing of every aspect of your research. What is your strategy? What is your purpose? Sorry, what is your strategy? What is your approach? Okay? How would you collect the data? From where you get the measures, the statement, the items through which you collect the data? How would you analyze the data? What statistical model you will use? How would you find out the sample of yours? How would you define your target population? How would you check the questionnaire of yours? So basically there are a lot of description which you have to define in the methodology. So methodology is a very, very important part. Inshallah, we'll be discussing in the next part of our lecture, and you need to focus on the understanding of methodology. So you will see in the mid of the paper, you will find the methodology. And after methodology, you will see the statistical analysis. And that will tell you that how the questionnaire has been validated, has been checked, reliability has been checked, and what are the results. And then on the basis of the results, you will interpret the relationship between the variables. For example, you will see with the results that there is this hypothesis is accepted. This hypothesis is. What about the null hypothesis over here? What about the null hypothesis over here? I told you before. When this hypothesis is accepted, what does it mean? It means the p-value is significant relationship. There is significant relationship means it is less than or equals to 0.05, 0.05, and t equals to and greater than 1.96. So whenever you test the hypothesis, these results come, and it tells you okay, what is your hypothesis accepted or rejected. So suppose your hypothesis is accepted. What does it mean? What about H naught? What about H naught? When the H1 is accepted, what about H naught? Shabash. Very good. Very easy answer. It is rejected. It is rejected. So one hypothesis can be accepted at once, not both. Either alternate or null. Okay. So usually in the papers, in the articles, research articles, the dot is there when p is greater than 0.05 or t is less than 1.96. So automatically this dot means the relationship is not significant. There is no relationship between convenience and intention. That's how it goes. So I am about to share the research paper. You have to write a summary of your learning. You have to learn from it and tell me what have you learned. So you have to write a page. Everyone has to write whatever you have learned from that paper. Learning can be the understanding of the theoretical framework. Learning can be the I have learned the hypothesis development, that how hypotheses are developed. What are the 3 to 4 steps in the hypothesis development? What are the steps in the theoretical framework? You have to tell me. For example, you start with the defining of the theory, then you define the variables one after another. Okay? Then you define the relationship on the basis of the theory. Then you relate the theory and the variables of your important variables of your choice. Recycling, related to recycling. So that's how you come up with a theory. So these are the steps which you need to mention. So in the next assignment, everyone will be submitting to Bilal, Mr. Bilal. In that you have to write whatever your learning is. Practically whatever you have witnessed. For example, you have learned about the direction and non-directional hypothesis, and you have to always tell why. If you have learned something, to why, how. You have to define at least one page. And you have to write yourself. Do not take help of anything, any human and any robot, anything. No. No. Concentrate on your learning and try to. If you have not learned anything, tell me. I have not learned anything. So that I know that you need to learn the concepts again. I want the real feedback. So this is very, very important, because if you do not go through that paper, you can never witness any practical application of research. Whatever I taught you is all theoretical, but I want you to learn from the practical research. There are many people who say research can only be learned through doing. So I am one of the proponent of this concept, that you learn by doing. So you need to at least, since we cannot practice right now in this semester, but we can at least go through that how the research is done practically. Okay? I hope you would complete that assignment. And it's a very, very important assignment. Don't take it easy. And I want your proper attention. You have to give a proper time to that at least 1 hour if you are intelligent person. If you are an ordinary person, then go more than that. At least 3 hours you have to allocate. Then read it thoroughly, once, twice, thrice, or 4 times, and ask me, mark it and ask me. Do not write a page. In the next lecture, do not write a page, do not come up with a page. Come up with a marking. Ask me anything from there. Sir, this point I did not understand. Sorry, sir, I cannot relate the lecture of yours with that. And you have to focus with the half of the paper up till methodology. not from the methodology. Since I have not taught you the methodology and the statistical analysis and the result interpretation, I have not taught you. So I want you to focus up till hypothesis development, that's it. So focus on there and mark it and underline or highlight, etc., and ask me. Or if you are a quick learner, then write a page and come up, because assignment would be a writing page. So if you are clear about every idea, then write a page. If you are not clear, then ask me. Clear? Is it clear to you? Sorry? My every assignment would be handwritten. Never ask this question to me. All the assignments are handwritten. Okay? If you do not go through handwriting, you do not learn actually. There are many students who try to copy. So by going through this exercise, they learn at least what they are doing. So I want everyone to write it down. And I want your real input actually. Okay? And so that I encourage every student to write. Okay, any questions so far? No question?